It's 1990. Your buddy just bought a beat-up 1970 Chevrolet SS for $4,000 at an estate sale. You laughed at him. Who wants a 30-year-old rust bucket? That car is worth $85,000 today. Now we are in the present. You're standing in front of a 1966 Ford Fairlane with a 390 cubic inch FE V8, 335 horsepower, original numbers matching drivetrain. Asking price? $22,000, less than your coworker paid for his used Honda CR-V. The question isn't whether that's a deal. The question is, why doesn't everyone know it's a deal? The answer comes down to a metric nobody in the hobby talks about, and once you see it, you will never look at the classic car market the same way again. You've been trained to look at sticker prices. $19,000 sounds cheap. $65,000 sounds expensive, but sticker prices are lying to you. The real question, the one that separates the guys who bought Chevrolets in the 90s and got rich from the guys who'll be kicking themselves in 10 years, is this. How much are you actually paying for the horsepower under that hood? That's the metric. Cost per horsepower. And when you run the numbers on a handful of forgotten 60s machines, the picture gets very, very interesting. The time travel metric. Let's establish the benchmark first, because we need something to measure against. In 1965, a Pontiac GTO, the car that started the muscle era, sticker priced at roughly $3,200. For that money, you got 335 horsepower from a 389 cubic inch V8. Run the math. $9.55 per horsepower. That was considered expensive for the era. The GTO was a performance premium product. Fast forward to today, a clean, drivable GTO in number 3 condition trades around $65,000. That same 335 horsepower now costs you $194.02 per horsepower, 20 times the cost. The GTO has become a celebrity. Everyone knows the name. Everyone wants one, and the market has priced that desire accordingly. One thing worth stating up front, every horsepower number in this video uses the factory gross ratings from the original era. We're keeping the playing field level with the original 1960s MSRPs. That's the only way the comparison holds. But fame doesn't transfer equally across an entire era. The same decade that produced the GTO also produced machines with identical engines, identical performance, and a fraction of the badge recognition. Those cars didn't make the posters, they didn't get the magazine covers, and today, they haven't been bid up by collectors chasing nostalgia for something they saw as a teenager. That gap between what a car costs and what it delivers on a per horsepower basis is the time travel metric. And right now, a handful of 1960s muscle machines are sitting at a value point that defies the logic of what they actually are. 5 cars the market left behind. The FE Value King, 1966 Ford Fairlane 500 S-Code. In 1966, the Fairlane 500 with the 390 S-Code stickered at $2,600, 335 horsepower from Ford's FE Big Block. Cost per horsepower, $7.76. Even then, it was among the most efficient power buys on the market. Today, a number 3 condition Fairlane 390 trades at approximately $22,000. That's $65.66 per horsepower. Sounds like a jump until you realize $2,600 in 1966 inflation adjusted to roughly $25,000 in today's dollars. You were buying this car for less than the original owner paid for it in real purchasing power. The man who drove this off the lot in 1966 gave up more financial sacrifice to own it than you would today. The Fairlane has not kept pace with inflation. You were literally going back in time on value. The B-body arbitrage, 1967 Plymouth Belvedere II 383. The Roadrunner gets all the glory. The Belvedere II had the same 383 cubic inch Commando V8, 325 horsepower, in a near identical B-body platform for $2,750 in 1967. That's $8.46 per horsepower at the time. Today, around $19,500 for a solid driver, $60 per horsepower. While the Roadrunner has tripled past inflation on the strength of its cartoon bird and its reputation, the Belvedere II sat quietly, appreciated almost nothing, and still has the engine. This is the hidden stock of the Mopar world. Same hardware, zero hype tax. The rocket nobody remembers. 1965 Oldsmobile Jetstar I. The Jetstar I came with the 425 cubic inch Starfire V8, 345 horsepower. In 1965, this was a $10.43 per horsepower buy, on the expensive side for the era because of how much displacement and compression you were getting. Full-size body, serious hardware. The market looked at full-size Oldsmobile and moved on. Today, it trades around $21,500. That's $62.31 per horsepower. The full-size penalty means you're now buying more power more cheaply than you could have in 1965. The car has actually gotten more efficient to own on a power basis over 60 years. That doesn't happen very often. The wide-track sleeper, 1966 Pontiac Catalina 2+2. This is the investment-grade entry on this list. The 2+2 came with the 421 cubic inch 421 V8 in 4-barrel configuration, 338 horsepower. Pontiac offered tri-power on the 421 as well, pushing output to 356 or 377 depending on the build, but the 4-barrel is the documented baseline we're running here. It's stickered at $3,500 in 1966. $10.35 per horsepower. Today, it trades around $32,000. That's $94.67 per horsepower. The full-size penalty means you're now buying more power more cheaply than you could have in 1965. The car has actually gotten more efficient to own on a power basis over 60 years. That doesn't happen very often. The sleeper of the spreadsheet, 1968 Chevrolet Nova L79. The L79 327 looks like the worst deal on this list at $106.15 per horsepower. It isn't. This is a 3,000-pound car. 3,000 pounds with 325 horsepower means every unit of that power is working harder for you than it would be in a 4,200-pound full-sizer. Nova guys already know this. The spreadsheet just hasn't caught up yet. You're not buying a number on a page, you're buying the closest thing to a factory-built street sleeper that GM ever accidentally produced. Here's the number that should stop you cold. The average price of a new car in America right now is $48,000. You can buy 4 of the cars on this list, running, driving classics with genuine big block V8 engines for that money. 4. Let that inform your next vehicle purchase.
Proof, proof, proof. These aren't hypothetical valuations. The Fairlane 390 numbers come from Hagerty's published Condition 3 market data and their inflation-adjusted MSRP tools. The Belvedere II B-body pricing tracks consistently on Bring a Trailer and Barrett-Jackson regional results from the last 18 months, repeatedly selling in the $17,000 to $22,000 range, regardless of the Roadrunner premium running parallel. The Jetstar I is documented through Oldsmobile historical production records and survivor car auction results. Because production numbers were modest and collector interest minimal, prices have stayed flat in real terms for over a decade. The Catalina 2+2 with the 421 is verified through Pontiac Historical Society documentation. The 421 was a factory performance option, not an aftermarket swap, and that provenance is detectable through VIN and broadcast sheet verification on survivors. The L79 Nova has the most crossover documentation of any car on this list. GM's own engineering records confirm the L79 327 was rated conservatively. Many dyno polls on unrestored examples suggest the actual output exceeded the factory 325 horsepower figure. You may be buying more than the sticker says. Why it matters. The guys who bought Chevelles in the 90s weren't geniuses, they were just early. The Chevelle's reputation was already established.
They were simply buying before the rest of the market caught up to what they already knew. The opportunity in front of you right now is different. These cars, the Fairlane, the Belvedere, the Jetstar, don't have a reputation problem. They have a recognition problem. Nobody made a poster of them. No movie put one in a chase scene. And because of that, the market has priced them as if the engines under their hoods don't matter. They matter. A 390 FE doesn't care what badge is on the car it's bolted into. A 383 Commando doesn't know it's in a Belvedere instead of a Roadrunner. The physics are identical. The experience behind the wheel is identical. The cost is not. We are in a window, and windows close. As the collectors who grew up with these specific cars age into serious money, the recognition gap narrows. The Belvedere II that sells for $19,500 today will not be $19,500 in 15 years. The only question is whether you're the guy who bought it or the guy who tells the story about the one that got away. The leaderboard is clear. The 1966 Fairlane 390 is your smart money buy. Below inflation-adjusted MSRP, real big block power, a market that hasn't woken up yet. The next question nobody's asking is what you're actually paying per foot-pound of torque on these same cars, because horsepower is what sells the car. Torque is what you feel every time you put your foot down. That number tells a completely different story. That video is next.